Hello students. Today we are going to start chapter number 9, New Empires and Kingdom. First, Gupta Empire. In this chapter you will study about the Gupta dynasty, rulers of the Gupta dynasty, administration, social condition and economic condition, religion, art and architecture, language and literature, and science and technology. Gupta dynasty. By the end of the 3rd century AD, the powerful empire established by the Kushanas in the north and the Satavahanas in the Deccan had come to an end. It was against this background that the Gupta Empire emerged to dominate the history of India for the next 2 centuries. Though not as vast as the Mauryan Empire, the Gupta period left a deep cultural impact not only on Indian but on the adjacent Asian countries as well. We get plenty of information about this illustrious dynasty through coins, inscriptions, monuments, and Sanskrit classics of the period. These are the Gupta age coins. The Gupta rulers were great conquerors and good administrators. They checked the infiltration of foreign tribes and established the political stability. Sri Gupta was the founder of the Gupta Empire, who founded it in 275 AD. He was succeeded by his son Ghatotkacha Gupta. He ruled from 280 AD to 319 AD. However, not much is known about these two rulers. The main centers of Gupta rule were Prayag, Ujjain and Patliputra. Chandragupta I, 319 AD to 335 AD. Chandragupta I succeeded his father Ghatotkacha in the year 319 AD and ruled up to 335 AD. He was the first important ruler of the dynasty. During his period, the Gupta Empire expanded and their authority was established over almost whole of North India. He assumed the title of Maharaja Dhiraj. He occupied Magad, which was rich in minerals, and the fertile Ganga Valley. This made him powerful. Samudragupta, 335 AD to 375 AD. Samudragupta was the next powerful ruler. He succeeded his father Chandragupta I. There are 3 main sources of history of the period of Samudragupta. First, inscription on Ashoka's pillar at Allahabad. Second, Iran edict. Third, coins of Samudragupta. This is the picture of Samudragupta with Veena in his hand. Samudragupta was known for his long military campaign to north, east and south of India, which established his sovereignty but not his direct rule. He is also known as the Napoleon of India. But the Gupta Empire was not as large as that of Mauryas. We got a lot of information about Samudragupta from a Prashasti by the poet Harisena of his court. These are the images of the gold coins of Samudragupta showing Ashwamedh Yajna. Do you know what is Prashasti? Prashasti is a Sanskrit word. It means in praise of Prashastis, were written in the praise of king. The Prashasti described him equal to the gods. Prashastis began to be used widely during the Gupta period. Was it for ordinary people? Prashastis were written in Sanskrit. It was the language of elite class and learned people. Ordinary people used Prakrit language. In Samudragupta's Prashasti, the poet praised the king as a warrior. He is also described as equal to God. Case study: a Prashasti by Harisena, whose mind buried itself with the support and the initiation of the miserable, the poor, the helpless, and the affected, who was the glorified personification of kindness of mankind, whose officers were always employed in restoring the wealth of the various kings who had been conquered by the strength of his army, whose many wonderful and noble deeds are worthy of praise for a very long time. In the Prashasti written by Harisena, Samudragupta's policy of ruling and expanding the empire has been discussed in detail. We get 4 types of ruler described in this Prashasti as mentioned here. This is the image of Gupta Empire. Aryavart. At the time of Samudragupta, Aryavart included major parts of Bihar and Uttar Pradesh, having kingdoms which were made part of Gupta Empire during the rule of Samudragupta. Dakshinapat. The 12 kingdoms of South India and Deccan were defeated by Samudragupta and brought under the Gupta Empire. Their kingdom were not annexed, but the defeated kings had to pay annual tributes to Samudragupta. Eastern and Western kingdoms. The kingdoms of the Eastern and Western India, such as Assam, coastal area of Bengal, kingdoms of Ganga Delta and the tribal republics of North, West had to accept Samudragupta's power and used to pay him annual tribute and followed his orders also. Some parts of Nepal was also brought under his control. Northwestern kingdoms and Sri Lanka. The Kushana and the Shaka's next generation rulers and the rulers of Sri Lanka also accepted the power of Samudragupta, followed his orders and paid annual tribute to him on time. Chandragupta II, 375 AD to 415 AD. He was the son of Samudragupta and succeeded him in 375 AD. According to an inscription on iron pillar of Mehrauli near Qutub Minar, Delhi, he assumed the title of Vikramaditya. The inscription also tells us about the victory campaigns of Chandragupta II. This is the image of Chandragupta II. Chandragupta was not only a great warrior and an able administrator, but also a great patron of art and learning. He had many scholars, poets, and artists in his courts. The best 9 were known as Navratna. Kalidas was a renowned poet of his court. Administration. The king was all-powerful, but he ensured the welfare and happiness of the people. He had a council of ministers, Mantri, Sachiv, Sandhi Vigrahak, Mahasenapati, etc. They advised and assisted him. The king was not bound to accept their advice. The empire was divided into provinces known as Bhuktis or Desh. They were governed by Uparika, Maharaj or Bhogpati. Mostly princes were appointed to these posts. Sometimes other capable and wise persons were also appointed to these posts. The provinces were divided into Vishyas and their head was known as Vishyapati. They were held by 4 men non-governmental committee. The village administration was under the village headman. The Gram Panchayats looked after the needs of the villagers. Social condition. During the Gupta period, people led a happy and prosperous family life. Joint family was very common. The position of women was not bad but became worse in the later periods. Child marriage had also started. Education was mostly limited to the upper class families. People enjoyed festivals and animal fighting games. Economic condition. Trade was carried out by land and river routes. Interstate trade flourished during this period. Important places like Peshawar, Mathura and Kausambi, Tamralipti, Broch and Ujjaini were all connected by roads. The rivers namely Ganga, Brahmaputra, Kaveri, Krishna and Godavari provided waterways. Important export items were pearl, diamond, precious stones, garments, ivory products, indigo, etc. Indians imported gold, silver, copper, tin, silk, horses, etc. Brahmadesh, Myanmar, Java, Sumatra, Bali, Champa, Vietnam and Cambodia were some of the countries with which the foreign trades were carried on. Agriculture was the main occupation of the people. Wells, tanks, canals were dug for providing irrigation. People grew wheat, rice, pulses, barley, sugarcane, cotton, jute, vegetables, etc. Farmers were the owners of land. Taxation was the main source of revenue. Religion. Most of the people were followers of Vaishnavism or Shaivism. They were followers of Buddhism and Jainism also. There was no conflict among them. Many sun temples were built and the sun was also worshipped. The king gave grants and donations to all the religions without any discriminations. Hinduism and Sanskrit language were revived. Art and architecture. During the Gupta period, art and architecture was highly developed in all its fields like painting, sculpture, temple building. Initially, there used to be one-roomed temple where the images of the main deity was installed with a decorated main gate. Later on, the size of the temples becomes larger and larger. A small one-room temple can be seen near the Sachi, Bhitargaon, Kanpur and Devgarh, Jhansi. The temples were decorated with beautiful and artistic sculptures. This is the image of Shiva at rock-cut temple of Ajanta cave. Ajanta and Ellora in Aurangabad in Maharashtra cave present the best specimen of paintings and stone-cut temples. Many images concerning Krishna Leela have been found in Rajashree districts of Bengal. This is the painting of Ajanta cave painting. A large image of Braha of 4th century, image of Mahavir Swami and Mahatma Buddha are some of the fine examples of their excellence in sculpture making of that period. The most significant feature of this period's art and sculpture is that they are totally free from foreign impact. Language and literature. The Gupta period was the golden period for Sanskrit literature. Kalidas was one of the 9 gems of the royal code. His famous works are Abhijana Shakuntalam, Malvika Agnimitram, Kumar Sambhavam, Raghuvanshanam, Meghdutam, and many others. Bhasya wrote 17 plays during this period. Vishakha Datta's Mudrakshasa is also a famous work. Pandit Vishnu Sharma wrote Panchtatra, which is a famous collection of tales with moral teachings. This period saw the development of Pali, Prakrit, and Tamil language. Also, Ramayana and Mahabharata were translated into Tamil during the Gupta period. Science and technology. The contribution of the Gupta period in the field of science and technology is very important. Astrology, astronomy, mathematics, medicine, chemistry, and many other branches of science were well developed during this period. Aryabhatta, the great scientist and mathematician of this period, proved that the earth moves round the sun and rotates on its axis. A book on mathematics named Aryabhatyam was written by him. This is the image of Aryabhatta. It explains the concept of square roots, place value of the digits, introduction of zero, decimal system, and also about triangles and circles. Even the eclipse could be easily predicted. Do you know? Aryabhatta gave an accurate value of pi. Charak, a physician, wrote Charak Samhita, and Sushruta, a surgeon, wrote Sushruta Samhita. Their contribution in the field of medical science is very important. The rust-free iron pillar of Mehrauli in New Delhi has never got rusted till today. Is a fine example of iron technology of Gupta period. Nagarjuna was a famous scholar of chemistry of that period. Chinese traveller Fa Yin came to India during the Chandraguptas and has left behind an account of his kingdom. After Chandragupta II came Kumargupta and Skandgupta as Gupta rulers. During the reign of Skandgupta, the empire was threatened by the Huns, nomadic tribesmen of Central Asia. They ended the rule of dynasty with the end of the Gupta dynasty. A number of small kingdoms were established in North India. About 100 years after the Guptas, in the small town of Thanesar, a king called Harsvardhana united all the small states and set up a new kingdom. Let's sum up this chapter. Sri Gupta was the founder of the Gupta Empire in 275 AD. Chandragupta II was the first important ruler of the dynasty. Samudragupta is also known as the Napoleon of India. We get a lot of information about Samudragupta from the Prashasti written by the poet Harisena of his court. Chandragupta II assumed the title of Vikramaditya. The best 9 were known as Navratna. Kalidas was a renowned poet of his court. Agriculture was the main occupation of the people. A small one-room temple made during this period can be seen near Sachi, Bhitargaon, Kanpur, and Devgarh, Jhansi. Caves of Ajanta and Ellora in Aurangabad district of Maharashtra present the best specimen of paintings and stone-cut temples of this period. The Gupta period was the golden period of Sanskrit literature. Ramayana and Mahabharata were translated into Tamil during the Gupta period. The great scientist and mathematician of Gupta period proved that the earth moves round the sun on its axis and not vice versa. Charak, a physician, wrote Charak Samhita, and Sushrut, a surgeon, wrote Sushrut Samhita. The Chinese traveller Fa Yin came to India during the Chandragupta II's reign. Thank you, students. Let's meet for the next chapter in the next class.